So YMS, one of the more prominent YouTube movie critics, did a bit of a curious thing. He decided for whatever reason to have a bit of a go at Critical Drinker, who is probably the biggest YouTube movie critic, and for the life of me I can't understand why. I don't see the upside in doing this. The only reason I can see is if he had definitive proof that Critical Drinker was a member of the alt-right or was a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. The best he could do was get angry at Drinker for going on the Russell Brand channel for an interview, who he thinks is a conspiracy nut and an anti-vaxxer. Also, he calls him a grifter, which can we change the definition of grifter, which is someone you disagree with politically? And it's also funny that he's so salty about this considering he's quite buddy-buddy with Fosh, who most people would find infinitely more detestable than Brand. So Adam smears Drinker passive-aggressively for doing an interview with someone who has 6.5 million subscribers. And he does an EFAP of the interview for 2.5 hours and airs his grievances with Drinker. And despite Adam's best attempts, a lot of the claims and arguments turn out to be not only not accurate, but not very substantial as well. In fact, after the breakdown, Adam went on EFAP, and after 9 grueling hours basically conceded a lot of his gripes. And the ones that he didn't, the most he could say was to agree to disagree, that Drinker didn't perfectly articulate his point in the clearest way possible. Which I found to be, I don't think one of his friends or colleagues he actually liked he would be this bad faith towards. But again, I don't understand his motives for doing this. YMS surely knows that being critical of the biggest YouTube movie critic is gonna get him backlash. At best, only his audience would like the video. But even then, it's not gonna be 100%. And you'll piss off Drinker's audience as well as his peers, which is quite a substantial number of people. And the fact that his facts were so spurious, or down to different perspectives, I don't know what his point was. It doesn't seem like the smartest idea to go after a bigger audience, unless you have the cold hard facts to back them up. But what makes matters worse is the fact that there were infinitely easier ways to do this. If YMS wanted to become more familiar with Drinker's content, he could have watched a handful of Drinker's video series Why Modern Movies Suck. So instead of watching an interview, why not go straight to the source or the horse's mouth? A totally undiluted perspective into exactly what Drinker thinks. But wait, there's more. If YMS was still unsatisfied by this, he's friends or friendly with Mahler. Why not email or talk to him and clear this up? And there's still more. Mahler is friends with Critical Drinker. Why not have Mahler set up a chat with Drinker and clear this up? Or pass along an email of questions and grievances? Instead, YMS decided instead of those incredibly easier options, he settled on doing a live stream of a breakdown of an interview, with an interviewer he hates, which to me is bad faith. Make a bunch of claims and arguments, and because Mahler is friends with both Drinker and Adam, he had to know there was going to be a confrontation, considering he was so publicly critical of Critical Drinker, which would most likely lead to an EFAP discussion. And Mahler is pretty damn good at arguing and breaking down arguments, and doesn't tend to lose a lot of debates or arguments. So the fact that he wanted to do a breakdown of your breakdown was not a good sign. Then 9 hours later, most of your arguments and grievances rang hollow or biased, which a good portion would have been cleared up if you did the bare minimum research. So after all of this again, I have to ask, what was YMS's endgame? To me, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense.